Welcome to ChalkTalk, a series of videos where we try to explain complicated technologies with just one chalkboard. In this video, we are looking at Varnish. It is a web accelerator that you can introduce to your software stack to significantly improve the speed of your website. But first, let's look at what makes a website slow in the first place. Traditionally, if you have a user behind his laptop visiting your site, it is going to connect to your server, it is going to connect to a web server, an Apache or an Nginx. That in turn will spawn a PHP process that is going to hit your code, and your code will talk to a database like MySQL or PostgreSQL. It might talk to a cache like Redis or Memcache, or it might talk to external APIs, the kind that you don't really have under control. Think Facebook, Twitter API, things like that. At the end of the day, when all of this data is gathered, your PHP will generate a response to be handed off to your Apache web server. The response is basically the HTML that your client is going to see, and it delivers that to your client. But he's not very happy. And the next person that comes to your server will trigger the exact same response. Hit Apache, spawn a PHP process, talk to the database, talk to the API. You get the gist. It takes a while. And at the end of the day, the response being given to that user is probably going to be the same as the previous one. So why don't we try to be smarter about that? Usually, if you start to get more and more visitors to your site, traditionally you would make a bigger server or add another one or another one. That doesn't really seem that efficient. So how can we solve this with more finesse and more intelligence? We could introduce an additional layer on top of your Apache web server called Varnish. And Varnish is a simple tool that is going to keep previously sent responses in memory to be served faster to the next visitor. So all of this complicated logic will be triggered once. The HTML response will be sent to Varnish. Varnish will send that to the visitor, and the next visitor will just talk to Varnish, ask, give me your homepage, and it can deliver that in milliseconds without talking to PHP, MySQL, your API, you name it. So this makes Varnish a web accelerator. Technically, it is a proxy sitting between the client and your web server, but it accelerates your visitors. On top of that, Varnish can also act as a load balancer. If the amount of visitors to your website exceeds the capacity of a single server, you can add multiple web servers to serve all of your visitors. And Varnish can act as the middleman, determining where that request should be sent. If your first web server is unavailable, be it maintenance, be it offline, Varnish will take that one out of commission and start sending requests to the other available web servers. It also allows you to do something called rolling upgrades, where you gradually deploy your code to the next server without interrupting the happy visitor. By introducing Varnish, you can create a smarter solution to a scalability problem. Instead of just throwing hardware at the problem, you introduce intelligence that is going to eliminate CPU, memory, and disk access, just making everything a lot faster. To conclude, if you introduce Varnish to your stack, you will have less PHP, less MySQL, less database, basically less of everything, more of happy clients. The end result will be that your site is going to be a lot faster. Think milliseconds instead of seconds. On top of that, you have the benefit that sites like Google, Bing, they take the speed of your website as one of the indicators to determine the ranking of your site. So the faster your site, the higher you can rank. You can't do that with traditionally just doing PHP. You need to be smart about it and introduce a caching layer on top of that. In the next videos, we will look at Varnish in depth, look at how you can use Varnish as a developer, as a sysadmin, how you can think about the content strategy of your website, and how to make integrating Varnish in your project a success. See you next time.